I was recently contacted by the fine folks at Aomi who asked me to do a review of their Backupper Standard 4.0.4 program in addition to the Aomi Partition Assistant Standard Edition. This video is going to focus on the Backupper program, and in return for doing the two reviews, they mentioned they would give me the serial number to one of the Pro editions. And I can tell you from just playing with both pieces of software, I'm leaning towards the Partition Manager myself, given that the extra features that has seems pretty interesting. And there is another video on that one as well, so I recommend going to check that out. But going back to the Backupper program, it is pretty neat. It is freeware, so you can download this as a consumer or as a professional. And if you decide to purchase it, if you like, it seems like it's pretty reasonably priced. We'll get to that in a minute. And there are things that the Pro version clearly does that the standard one does not. So that's something we'll also look at in just a moment here. But mainly, this is a program used for backing up hard drives. And while Windows 7 and below had stuff built in it, as you got into Windows 8, they kind of changed some things. And finally, back in Windows 10, they brought the 7 system back. But Windows 10 is a little different with the file history and whatnot. So looks like this may be a pretty nice solution. And what's nice is you can actually use this to clone hard drives. Now, there is some kind of functionality like this in the Partition Manager program as well. However, you might not need that. You might want something that just does backups. So it's nice to see that something does handle this as well. And speaking of this system, I can tell you that it does full system images, which is nice too. That's something that's good for rolling out your machine back from bare metal, basically. But if you want, you can come onto their website and you can see there is a comparison section here that shows you the difference between the standard and the pro. Certain things like doing backups and restores are a little faster with the professional and the server editions than it would be on the standard. But for the most part, a lot of the features are the same. Cloning is available, which is nice. But doing a whole system clone, you have to get that in the paid or system version. Command line utilities, and so on and so forth. Even using the PXE boot tool. Now, PXE is a server where you would have another machine in your network set up as a PXE server, and you can have different installations or different programs or whatnot set up on there and administer them over the network and basically just use your computer to boot into it. So that's kind of nice that has that functionality too. So there are some definitely neat things that this does in the paid version, and I like it so far from what I've been playing with it. Now, there is one thing here. I do have Windows Home Server 2011. If I wanted to use that, I would actually have to get the server edition, which makes sense. Obviously, you're getting different technical support levels here if you pay for it. And what the other nice thing is you can actually use this on two PCs. So I actually have a computer here, so does my wife, and then I have a server. So technically I would have to buy 3 versions of this if I wanted to use them on all the machines. But $50 for two PCs and $170 for one server doesn't seem terribly bad. Plus it's a lifetime free upgrade, so as long as they're around and they keep making software, you'll be able to get free updates. And they take a wide variety of payment methods. I like seeing PayPal, that's a favorite of mine. So yeah, this is a pretty neat looking program from what I've seen so far. It does have a lot of reviews that I've seen that seem pretty decent. And they have systems where if you want to get the backupper and the partition system together, you can get that in a cheaper price. There's also the technician system, which can be used on multiple PCs in one company, like it says, or it can be used to charge a service. So if you're using this in a situation like I would here, let's say in a shop, you can always go for a version like this, and that would definitely make its money back, I'm sure. In fact, I'll show you there is this system here where they have different levels where, for example, you were buying the Backupper Tech Plus, the Partition Assistant Tech, and this one key recovery customization, which I have not looked at. But if you purchase these three together as a suite, it would actually, well, it's a lot of money up front, but it would be a lot cheaper than buying all these separately, down the road, I would say. But there are some pretty neat things that this does. And the Tech Plus versus the regular Tech version, by the way, this one includes PCs and servers, where the other one only is for PCs. And you'll see that as we go through here. But this is the home user version. So here's all that software together. And if you didn't want the Recovery Pro, you can just uncheck that. And you can see right away it's only $70 as opposed to $100. And this is the regular server suite, which is nice. Again, you would need that in a server situation, obviously. And then this is the one which is just your standard technician without the server use. So it's nice that they have these different flavors that you can get and get them at some kind of a substantial savings. Now there'll be links to this section here down in the description below. And checking out the program, it looks pretty simple. As you can see, you can create a new backup right from here, and it's pretty much you can set up any of these you want. I do full system backups. That's just the way I like doing it. This will make one image on a specified hard drive. Now, drive G just happens to be a backup drive that I already have set up. And if I go ahead and do this, it will take quite some time. I'm not going to have this done by the time the video is ready to go. But these are nice because you can actually use the full system backup to image the complete system from any kind of problem that you have. And I can't really show you any of these other ones right now, so I'm just going to actually cancel out of this for now. But I have done this before. I actually took a hard drive, backed everything up, and restored it just to see if it worked, and it did work pretty flawlessly, which was good. And obviously, that was your backup sections here. File backups is pretty much how Windows 10 works, where it's like a history system where you have multiple backups of it. And partition backups, exactly what that sounds like, where you're just taking the complete partition. You might have multiple partitions on a hard drive, but you might only want to back up one of those, keep them separate. You can certainly do so with that. Cloning disks, exactly as it sounds. Now, system clone, if you're going over to an SSD, you do have to have the Pro version to do that. That would be something I'd be interested in because I do a lot of that with some client computers here, so I'd be interested to see how that works. And some of these are pretty nice too. Again, here's that PXE boot tool. And merging images is nice if you have multiple hard drive images that you want to make into one full hard drive. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick overview type video of this just to show some of the features that it has, because I thought it was a pretty neat program. And I'm sure as I come into more and more situations where I need these things, I'll definitely be taking a look at this in the long term. Now, as I mentioned, I only will get one key for one program, if I remember the email correctly. And I'm kind of leaning towards the other one because working with partitions can kind of get iffy sometimes, and a lot of the features that had made it easier to deal with them. So that's definitely the one I'm leaning to, but this one doesn't seem like a bad program at all. In fact, if I was looking to purchase a program, I would definitely consider purchasing these both as a suite. And I might even have to check out that third program, that recovery one, just to see what that's all about too. But so far, so good. It seems like it's a pretty neat program. It's pretty light resource-wise, and I should have mentioned that in the other video. So is the Partition Assistant. They're small files. They took a little while to load the first time I loaded them, but that seems like it had to do with reading the hard drives. I do have quite a bit of space on this computer. I think it's close to 8 terabytes now altogether between all the separate drives on the thing. So it does take some time for this computer to do anything on a mass reading scale, even like booting up from getting through BIOS. The rest of the computer is speedy, so it's just, I know that's what it is. But anyway, yeah, there's really not much more to add to this particular video. So just upcoming videos that I have where I'm doing any kind of computer related stuff where I need to use one of these two programs, I will be testing them out. And that's really all I have to say. So check out the other video. There'll be a link at the end of this one, and we'll see you guys next time.